So hello, my name's Lance McCarthy, Chief Executive. We all know that 2020 has been a very unusual year. The COVID-19 pandemic has made us all think very differently, behave very differently, and work very differently, and do a lot of things in a very, very different way. And our annual event and attempt is no different. So this year, instead of the tent up on the helipad, we have some fantastic 3 days from the 28th of September to the 30th of September of events not in a tent. 3 days of fun, 3 days of virtual events to celebrate you, all of our amazing people. We have some fantastic things booked and planned. We've got some live events, we've got some pre-recorded events, lots of health and wellbeing videos. We've got a guest speaker, we've got a keynote speaker, and of course our ever popular quiz, which will be supported by our Amazing People Awards and also by our Long Service Awards. Please take every opportunity to dial in, look at the live events if you possibly can. Everything will be pre-recorded. We'll have a YouTube playlist that you can watch things at your leisure. Look out for special prizes. Look out for entertaining events throughout the 3 days, Monday the 28th of September to Wednesday the 30th of September. Have fun, and thank you all very much for a fantastic year so far.
So good morning, everybody, and welcome to day one of our events not in a tent. As we said, we've gone virtual this year, so a fantastic set of live and pre-recorded events over the next 3 days, starting each day with the exec briefing as we're about to give in shortly. As said there in the video, all videos will be available on our YouTube channel as part of event not in a tent reloaded, and please look at those videos, and whilst you're doing it, look out for some hidden Scrabble letters making up a 7-letter word, and this is a chance for you to win one of 10 iPads. So watch the videos, work out what the word is, and just email the comms team with the 7-letter word to be in with your chance of winning. Quickly today, we've got the exec briefing shortly, but then other great events today at 10 o'clock. We have Alexis Powell-Howard from Fortis Therapy running an emotional resilience and mindfulness session, giving us some very useful tips on how to keep ourselves resilient. Then at 11 o'clock, we've got a video talking about the new hospital to find out more about what's happening and how you can get involved. A great session at 12 o'clock about being a flu fighter and busting the myths about flu and how important obviously the flu vaccination is this year in particular. Between 1:30 and 3:30 today, a great session that our Quality First team are running about shining a spotlight on quality improvement. And then to round off the day today, we've got our Long Service Awards for all of those colleagues who've worked more than 20 and 25 years in the organisation, running from 4 o'clock this afternoon. So that's the fun packed day one, and then we've got I'll tell you tomorrow and Wednesday the other events that we've got coming up on those days. Also a reminder today that the National Staff Survey has been launched, the annual survey. It comes out today. Please, as ever, can you and your colleagues complete the survey. Really helps to understand how you're feeling, to help shape improvements going forward. And equally again, there's a special prize for those. There's an opportunity to win one of 20 lots of £100. So please, just by completing the survey, so please complete the survey. So thank you. In terms of what we wanted to talk about today, I wanted to have really a review of the last 12 months since the last event in the tent, and I'll take you through the first half of that, and Getch will take you through the second half, and then a little talk about our recovery of our services, where we're going over the next 10 years, and then the new hospital, and an update from Michael on the new hospital. So just reflecting what has happened in the last 12 months. Well, it's certainly been a pretty different and pretty extreme 12 months. So 2 weeks, I think it was, after the last event in a tent, we had a visit from our Prime Minister Boris Johnson, recent Prime Minister, who certainly well, it's an interesting day, certainly, wandering around the site for the day, with the announcement then on the 30th of September last year the fantastic announcements that we had been included as part of the Health Infrastructure Plan first wave, meaning that capital being made available for us to build a new hospital. So the long-awaited and hard work that had gone into that finally coming to fruition. There's still a lot of hard work to do to get that over the line, but fantastic news, and fantastic for the organisation, and fantastic for all of our patients. We also then later in October got some news about funding for the new state-of-the-art CT scanner, and then following that in November, congratulated, or the Nursing Times congratulated 3 of our finalists for various different awards. So a shout out to Caroline Ashton Goff, our dementia clinical nurse specialist, who was a finalist in the Nurse of the Year award for the Nursing Times, in recognition of all the hard work that she does on a daily basis to support our older people and people living with dementia, and our vulnerable patients and their families and carers. Congratulations to Caroline. Two other shortlisted awards. Also shortlisted for the team that supports our patients with chronic wounds around the organisation, who are commended for their work to improve patient outcomes, and our fantastic Butterfly volunteers, who, as many of you know, offer a fantastic support for all of our patients who are nearing the end of their lives. So great that was recognised, and our training programme recognised here that we deliver in conjunction with Anne Robson Trust. Then in November, we got some great news around our children and young people survey from the CQC. Really positive results from everybody, showing the further improvements in the quality of care and services that our paediatric teams are providing. December was a month full of festive cheer. What particularly highlight for me the volunteers lunch, but fantastic links in with the community, and some great visits and support from Stansted Airport and from Tottenham Hotspur as well, to support all of our patients. Then in January, all the hard work around quality improvement and service change was recognised by the Academy of Fabulous NHS Staff, when we became only the second hospital in the country to be formally accredited by them for all of the work and the focus and the energy that we put into continually improving our services. And credit to the Quality First team and everybody out there who's continued to implement some really fantastic change for the benefit of our patients. And then that followed up by some real support for our patients around a new 24/7 specialist mental health service at the front door, really needed, and really enabling us to take some of the pressure off ED, but support patients who have some mental health issues and concerns. And then February saw us improve our ratings in the NHS staff survey. So the staff survey, just mentioned the annual one that is just coming out. Results generally come out in February, and all of you said and rated us as being above average compared with other hospitals across the country in terms of the care that we provide and the care that you're able to provide. So again, really underpinning the ongoing improvements that we're making across the organisation. And then March, just before COVID hit, we had some fantastic recognition of a number of our colleagues. So we're congratulated for 2 finalists for the Patient Experience Network National Awards, Callie Bruce and the patient panel. So fantastic, well done. So Callie, the acute oncology advanced nurse practitioner, and then the patient panel recognised for all of their hard work and support for our cancer patients. And then also a big shout out to Sherry Beckett, biomedical scientist, who reached the finals of the Chief Scientific Officers Awards, which I don't think have yet been had. I think they have been postponed due to COVID. So fantastic, interesting, diverse 6 months, first 6 months since the last event in the tent, and then COVID-19 pandemic hit, and Getch will talk you through the second 6 months in a second. But I just wanted to use this opportunity again to say a huge thank you to all of you for your fantastic response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Huge amounts of pressure, huge amounts of change that everybody put in place. Lots of people working in very, very different ways to support our patients at the same time as obviously everybody having considerable levels of personal anxiety around it as well. So I just wanted to use this again as an opportunity to say thank you for all your hard work, energy and effort that's gone into to all the changes that have been made over the last few months. And with that, I'll hand over to Getch, who will take you through the second 6 months from April to today.
Morning, everyone. I'm Getch, Media Director of People. I'm delighted to reflect over the period during COVID pandemic and taking you from April to September of this year. As Lance has said, a big thank you for everyone for their commitment during the challenging time and everything that people have experienced. It goes without saying that we are truly, truly honoured to be working in such a fantastic place with such great people. So picking up for April, loads of things happened. Just acknowledging the amazing response we got from the community with the gifts, the donations and kind words, with a special thank you to Project Wingman and their team for the support they gave our staff in terms of their mental health support, the refreshments that were provided all day to all our staff free of charge. A big thank you to them. Also in April, we recognise innovation such as Attend Anywhere for the virtual appointments and the real key one around how we look after our patients and people, message to our loved ones and the video calling service. Also in April, we marked our 55th anniversary on the 27th of April, for which we were delighted to receive a message from Her Royal Highness Princess Alexandra. That was truly a special occasion because we didn't know it was going to happen. Moving on to May, our people gave back to the community by donating more than 1,000 cans of food to Harlow Food Bank. And I know a big thank you to people in the ED team who sort of organised that, but was truly blown away by how many people donated more than 1 tin of cans. In June, the patient panel received the Queen's Award for Voluntary Service. And then further on, the procurement team was shortlisted for a prestigious accolade. The department were recognised as at the Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supplies Excellence in Procurement Awards. The categories the team were shortlisted for were Best Initiative to Build a Diverse Supply Base and Procurement Team of the Year for a large organisation. Moving on to July, we marked the my teeth in. We marked the 72nd anniversary of NHS on the 5th of July with an applause outside the hospital, and that was picking up all the applause that we used to get every Thursday. We also appointed a new medical director, Dr. Faye Gilder, who starts with us in November. And at this point, all the exec team want to say a big thank you to Marcel Mackay, who actually walked into the job with a week's notice and covered us all the way through, kept us safe through COVID. So a big thank you to Marcel. And in August, we launched our microsite for a hub of information around the new hospital. And you'll find plenty of information. If you look on our normal site and click on New Hospital, you'll see a vast array of things. And finally, I want to finish on what happened in August. We received an investment of £400,000 from the Department of Health and Social Care to support us to improve patient experience for those accessing our frailty service, with our new frailty short stay unit opening winter. So that's just a quick canter through some of the things that we did during the pandemic. So a big thank you to everyone. And with that, I pass over to Steph, who's going to pick up further reflections on how we improved during our recovery phase. Over to you, Steph.
Thanks, Getch. And as you can see, lots and lots of information there. So warm welcome to everybody this morning. I'm at KO Park today, which is another one of our fantastic developments over the last 12 months and a huge opportunity for teams to come together and work in a fantastic open space. I'd just like to spend a few moments talking around our recovery plans. As we've said already, COVID has impacted across all of our staff, all of our patients, in all of us in different ways, and none more so than our activity. Over the last few months, we've worked really hard across the teams with all of the clinical, nursing and operational colleagues to put together detailed plans to reassure our patients that we're starting to bring our activity back in line with national standards. The expectation is that by the end of October this year, we should be back to around 90% of our previous levels of activity. If and when we see a second phase and further increases in COVID, we'll continue to review that and put measures in place to try and protect that level of activity as far as possible. Getch mentioned the impact we've had with the funding from the Department of Health in terms of frailty services, and Simon will spend a few minutes just talking around other avenues of funding that we've explored to help on those recovery plans. We've had lots of developments over the last year in terms of virtual technology, how we can support our patients to attend their appointments, and a huge transformation programme that Jim McLeish and the team are leading to make that viable for the future. We're expecting to return to our cancer standards by the end of the year and support those patients accessing cancer treatment across our site and across our satellite sites. I'd like to give a big thank you to all of the teams that have adapted to working in a very different way over the last year to support and reassure patients. It can be quite daunting for our patients attending their appointments given their experience over the last few months, but we've taken all safety precautions to make sure that they're protected at all times. We're expecting to have additional diagnostic support and a mobile MRI scanner on the St Margaret's site later in October, and again that will help us protect that level of activity. And with that, I'll just hand over to Simon for a few minutes just to talk around some of the capital developments to support our recovery on an ongoing basis. Thanks, Simon.
Thanks, Steph, and good morning, everybody, and welcome to 3 days of what will be really exciting events. Simon Coville, the acting CFO for the Trust. Just want to build on there what Steph said around the capital programme and support of our recovery plan. The capital investment this year is up to £45 million, so significant investment going into the organisation. By way of comparison, last year we spent around £17 million on capital, so really pleasing to see a number of key investments coming forward, including adult assessment unit being taken forward, preparation for new hospital and funding secured for that, along with across the board IT investments and more on medical equipment, as Steph said there, to support recovery. Seen a number of investments coming forward around development and be able to support our recovery programme. So really pleasing to see that high level of investment, and probably worth saying that will probably be the last year in terms of significant investment as we move to an exciting time to move into new hospitals. So we'll have to consider future investment very carefully, but really pleased to let the organisation know that high level of investment that we've got. With that said, I'm going to hand back to Lance, and thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks, Simon, and thanks, Steph, for picking up on the real hard work that's going into recover our services, but also continue to invest appropriately in the site to make this as safe and secure a place as possible for our patients and for all of you. So as you can see in here, a huge amount of change, a very fascinating, interesting, dynamic, difficult last 12 months since the last event in Attent, and a huge amount of change going into and an effort going in now to recover all of our services for the benefit of our patients. But I also just wanted to use this as an opportunity to talk about looking forward slightly as well. So Michael will talk shortly about where we are with the new hospital, a fantastic opportunity to really shape services as well on the back of that. And as a result, we have a 10-year plan, or developing a 10-year plan called PHT 2030. It's a 10-year plan of transformation and modernisation to really support us in delivering outstanding care. Our vision and our drive and our aim to deliver outstanding care to all of our patients and to the local community. And how are we going to do it? Well, we're going to do it by aiming to be outstanding in everything we do, aiming to be integrated in everything we do, and aiming to be modern in everything we do. There's an NHS long-term plan, 10-year plan that was published about 18 months or so ago. and that's got some really significant thoughts and expectations of how the NHS will move forward. And we want to not only align ourselves with that, but we want to make ourselves outstanding for the local population. And we'll do that with working within our 5P structure and working within a new culture, changing our behaviours and changing our ways of working. Key lines and really big issues in terms of what we need to do to really support our patients going forward are five or six really key elements. The first in my mind is around integration. How do we integrate our services differently with primary care services and community services to make the patient pathways as seamless as possible for all of our patients? How do we collaborate with primary care in a different way? And importantly, how do we collaborate with the new primary care networks? And again, ensure that seamless transfer of care, that seamless transfer of information, and from a patient's perspective, the seamless transfer of or ability to be able to access all of their services straightforwardly. We need to develop some new models of care as a result of that and work in different ways. And there's been some fantastic work, and thank you very much to all the clinicians who've been involved in the work to develop the new models of care associated to and aligned with New Hospital over the last few months, whilst also trying to manage and support our patients with COVID. And we've got to have integration in a different way and driven by all of our clinicians across the organisation. We've also, in my mind, we've got to focus on some of the out-of-hospital services more. So we provide fantastic care in the main to all of our patients, but if we're truly going to provide seamless care and outstanding care to the local population, we need to support and work differently with our out-of-hospital services and have an increased view around prevention. If we're going to provide outstanding care, we need to increase and improve our patient outcomes. And how are we going to do that? Well, in my mind, I think we need to start to increase the number of specialist nursing roles and the number of specialist AHP roles. We need to be more flexible with what we're doing. We need to blur professional boundaries, and we need to work together in a different way across the organisation and outside of the organisation. And all of this has obviously got to be underpinned, as we've talked about, a huge amount, with a massive focus on digital and technology. And that's not just around electronic patient record, which is obviously fundamental to link that in with all of the patient records across the system. But it's also, how do we use technology generally? How do we use technology to make the building and the new hospital work effectively? How do we use technology around patient wearables? How do we use telemedicine to modernise all of our services to make it better, more seamless care for our patients, make it easier access for our patients, and make it easier for you and all of your colleagues to provide the hands-on, high-quality care that we wish them to. But we've also got to do this ensuring value for money. At the end of the day, we're a public sector organisation. We are funded purely out of the taxpayer's purse, and we've got to ensure that we can make all of those changes and all those investments, make them affordable and ensure value for money for the taxpayer. And we're going to do that through increasing standardisation in everything that we do, reducing our non-clinical costs, and changing and modernising all of our corporate services as well as our clinical services. And most importantly, we're not going to do any of this unless we continue to change the way we behave. We need to continue to work on how we respect each other. We need to continue to increase the amount of equality and inclusion across the organisation, and we need to continue to celebrate diversity to make this the best place in the NHS to work and therefore deliver outstanding care to our patients. And then in the middle of it all, we've got to build a brand new hospital, a hospital fit for the 21st century, hopefully to make it a jewel in the crown for the NHS and the local population. 5 years away, we've got a huge amount of change, transformation, modernisation to make in the next 5 years and to get into the new hospital, but then continue that journey over the 10-year period to continue to make that transformation and that change. So a huge amount of change ahead, but it's a fantastically exciting time. We've got a huge opportunity here in Harlow to build a new hospital. We've got a huge opportunity to work very differently our local our integrated care plans and working within the integrated care system. And we genuinely have, in my opinion, a fantastic opportunity to redefine healthcare locally and potentially also nationally. So we're not going to stand still. A huge amount of change over the last year, a huge amount of change over the last 5 years, and a huge amount of change over the last 10 years. So we're not going to stand still, but we do need to accelerate that in our strive to create ourselves some truly outstanding facilities for our patients. Our strive to ensure that we've got outstanding environment for all of us to work in on a regular basis, and therefore to deliver outstanding care for our local population. So we're pulling all of that together into some detailed plans. Look out for those plans over the forthcoming weeks and months, and really give ourselves will drive energy to transform what we do over the next 10 years, with that really important milestone of a new hospital coming in about 5 years. So thank you for listening to that. We will, like I said, get more information out about that. But at this stage, I will hand over to Michael to talk to you a little bit more about where we are with the new hospital and developments there.
Thanks, Lance. And wow, so much has happened since the last event in the tent. It's listening to that rundown from Lance, Getch, Steph, Simon. It just takes my breath away how much has changed since this time last year. And for me, as a Director of Strategy, I'm Michael Meredith, Director of Strategy and Estates for the organisation. I think I've probably met most of you, but I've been on an amazing journey as well, working with our colleagues right across the trust to develop the plans for a new hospital. You'll all know that we are part of the HIP1 plan, the HIP1 scheme. We've got funding allocated for a new hospital, and now the detailed work is seriously underway. We've been working right across the system with partners from all different organisations, with our local authorities, county councils, the CCGs, the ICS, GPs, community providers, mental health, as well as our patients and the public and our staff, to really develop those detailed plans. And it is taking us quite a lot of effort to get to developing and designing this brand new hospital. But as Lance said, it's an amazing opportunity should we get it right. We've had massive clinical engagement, clinical and non-clinical engagement right across the organisation that's delivered a lot. So in the last few months, we've delivered our demand and capacity analysis. We developed our brand new models of care, which will really change and challenge the way we deliver care using this facility to its utmost. We've developed our schedule of accommodation. That's the number of rooms that we will need to deliver the services that we need to deliver for our new hospital. And we developed our technology and our partnering strategy. So a big thank you to everyone that's been involved. We as an executive team definitely can't do it on our own, and we need your input. So thank you very much for everyone that's been involved. Well, at the end, I'll just bring in how you can continue to be involved as we go forward. So although we've delivered a lot, there's still a long way to go. We've got the detailed design to go. We really need to work closely together as a group of clinicians and managers across the system to make sure we continue to design the facility and make it the best possible facility that we can. And we want your help. We want you to continue to be involved. So Lance mentioned the microsite. You can link to it from our main site. Please follow us on the microsite. You can see where we're going. You can see our plans, and you can see how you can get involved. Talk to the clinical leads, talk to your departments, talk to the people that have been involved. There's a range of people right across the organisation have been involved with developing the new hospital, and talk to your teams. We want to hear what you and your teams want from our brand new facility. It's not what we want, it's what you guys want and what you guys need to transform care. So what is the schedule? So we're hoping to have our outline business case, that is the 1 in 200 drawings, the walls, the doors, how all the departments fit together, and all of the financing completed by March. Then we go into the real detailed design, takes us to 1 in 50 drawings, which is the plug sockets on the walls, the machinery in the rooms, which takes us to the following January. Following that, we have about a 3.5-year build period, and we hope to have our hospital built by 2025. Now that seems like a long way away, but it isn't. So one last plea, please get involved. Lance, back to you.
Thank you very much, Michael. So that is it from us, from the exec team, in terms of a quick update. Hopefully that was useful, informative in terms of a review of the last 12 months, where we're going with the new hospital, and then our direction of travel for the next 10 years. As ever, please can you put some queries, comments, questions in the chat box if you so wish. In the Q&A box, you can see there's little squares with the question marks in it. So there's a question there. How are the hospital planning to support the previous shielding community? And a response, thanks, from Getch. We should have mentioned all of those who shielded as well. Thank you very much. So having spoken to a number of you, I recognise a number of things really. So first of all, just the increased additional levels of anxiety that you obviously had around your health, but actually also the fact that you were unable to support the patients and support delivery of care to the patients and support your colleagues at that time. So thank you to everybody who did shield. We also recognise, having spoken to many of you, that you have some fantastic with the organisation, and others less so. And so apologies on behalf of the organisation for those of you who were out of contact. There is obviously clear expectation that you would remain in contact on a regular basis with your line manager, and we've done some work in the background about what worked and didn't work for shielding colleagues, as well as all other colleagues actually, through COVID-19 and a first wave of pandemic. And we've made some huge amounts of changes and recommendations already, lots of changes to the clinical service provision, and also looking at how we can support all of you, whether you're shielding or not shielding, and whether you're clinical or non-clinical in the organisation. A huge amount of work that's gone into making many areas of the organisation COVID secure, so people can feel safe to come into work, particularly at KO Park, as Steph was mentioning earlier. Is a COVID secure environment, fantastic facility, huge amount of investment that's gone into there to support providing a really top class facility. So apologies if you felt, whoever's asked that question, that you didn't get the support whilst you were shielding, and we're doing a huge amount of work to make sure that isn't the case should the requirement for shielding come up again. A query there about lots of promises around new technology made in KO, which didn't occur. I'm not sure I agree with that, actually. So it'd be interesting to know what technologies you think were promised and what haven't occurred. So there's a massive amount of investment that's gone into that. All furniture completely brand new, fantastic desks, high quality IT that's gone in there, complete new screens everywhere, laptops, computers available. We've got some really fantastic meeting room space, huge opportunity there to be able to utilize technology to put the meeting rooms in advance. We've got high quality kitchen areas, and it is by far the best quality environment that we have in the organization. So apologies if you don't think that the tech that was promised. I'm not sure what was promised that hasn't arrived there. So maybe you could respond while we're talking. But KO is a fantastic environment. It's COVID secure, really supports all of our colleagues and taken many of our teams out of some really poor accommodation in the MITRE building in particular, which was shocking, into really genuinely high class accommodation. And we're learning lots from KO Park and how we've managed that to make sure that we can get some fantastic environments in the new hospital. Another question there, IT changes need process changes, and are we ready for new technology and ways of working? So a good question. So absolutely, of course, IT and technology don't work themselves without a whole load of process change that needs to happen, and changes in the ways of working, which is why it is part of a much broader 10-year development and modernization plan. So we can't just, as everyone knows, you can't just put a bit of software in and expect it to change the world. You've got to be able to change your processes around that, which is why the implementation of an electronic patient record is a huge undertaking, because we've got to understand all of our clinical processes and all of the support processes that support the clinical processes effectively. We've got to use it as an opportunity to modernize and update and change those and make those as efficient and effective as possible. And then obviously we've got to ensure that everybody understands the importance of it, and is able to make those changes if the IT is really going to deliver and support us. My view is that we are behind the curve in terms of the amount of technology that we use in the organisation. We use far more technology outside the organisation in our normal everyday lives to run our own lives, and everyone has the capability and the ability and the desire to use it outside in their personal lives, and we need to continue to drive the investment agenda and the focus on digital and technology in the organisation to support you whilst you're at work, but also importantly to support the care that we can provide our patients and to free up time. And there's no point putting technology in an IT in if it creates more problems. It's there to free up time, to make the transfer of patient information and data quicker and safer, to make it easier to understand that and to manage our patients' care, and importantly to free up time of everybody, clinical and non-clinical staff, to be able to reinvest that time back in providing the hands-on care and those interactions that are really important, staff to patient interactions. So good. And there's a huge amount of work that needs to change, which is why we've got a written plan, and focusing on integrating everything we do, modernising everything that we do, if we're truly going to be outstanding. Thank you, Steve. Steve Clark, Chairman, for his comment there about the starts at events and not in a tent. A question: we're being asked to bring our equipment from our PAH offices, so I'm assuming that is related back into the KO question. I'm not sure that is correct, if I'm honest. But we just need to double check that. If you can let us know which department, that would be really helpful. So KO has, you will not need to bring any desks, you will not need to bring any filing cabinets, you will not need to bring any lockers, you will not need to bring any mugs, any cups, pens, pencils, etc. That is all there. Every single desk has screens. Every single desk has the ability to plug a laptop into effectively, and every single desk has the opportunity to have a high quality new PC as well. So I'm not sure what would be required to bring from offices, but if you could let us know, then we'll be able to manage and support that. The point of KO is it's an investment in a fantastic new high quality facility, and it gives us the opportunity to modernize everything that we do in terms of the equipment as well as the ways of working. Again, of the events later today, so at 10 o'clock in just under an hour's time, a really good session from a lady called Alexis Powell-Howard, who works for Fortis Therapy, looking at our emotional resilience and mindfulness, and she's got some really useful tips on how we can help ourselves and support our colleagues as well around our own personal resilience and mindfulness, which is of course going to be ever more important as we hit winter and as we hit a potential second COVID peak. Then there's the video around the new hospitals, building on what Michael has said earlier today. There's a new video at 11 o'clock, which you can see and hear a little bit more about the plans and how you can get involved in that. That is pre-recorded at KO Park, so you can also see a little bit of the background of KO Park as well, for those of you who haven't been there. And then a session at 12 o'clock around busting the myths around flu, and obviously I don't need to tell you how important the flu vaccination is normally, but even more important this year, particularly in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. And then a great session between 1:30 and 3:30 this afternoon around quality improvement, so learning more about this, learning more about how to lead change, and in answer links back into a number of the questions that have already been asked this morning about the sheer amount of change that we have, both clinical and non-clinical. Really important session to get involved in if you can, between 1:30 and 3:30. And then finally, our long service awards and our annual long service awards between 4 and 5:30 this evening, for those who've worked in the organisation for over 20 and 25 years. So thank you. So the ongoing debate around KO Park being asked to bring our own screens and not being given new equipment, so I'm not sure that that's correct. So if we can take this offline, if you could contact, well, either drop me or Michael Meredith, please, a note and tell me what department you're from and where we're going, and we'll get under that. But that's not my understanding. So let's just take this offline and drop us an email, and we'll follow that up later this week. Thank you. Message from Heather: please can we have a summary of the staff briefs like we used to before COVID-19? So yes, we can, Heather. So since we've gone virtual and recorded it all live, and opportunity watch them all or rewatch them all if you can't watch it live on our YouTube channel, and since we've been doing that, actually we've been having roughly about 100 people or so watching it live, and then many more than that watching the recorded event afterwards, but I understand that requires people to be able to log on to computers. So yes, we will have a look at that, and I will speak to Laura and the comms team about how we can try to summarise these into written form afterwards. Thank you. And then a question there, you mentioned that we need to be mindful of spending, as this is money from the public purse. In light of this, can you just explain why they're using contractors to carry out maintenance jobs at significant cost rather than providing the staff employed with equipment to carry these out? So I'm not entirely sure what that relates to, but every time we use contractors, we obviously go through a proper value for money approach, and ensure that we go through a proper process to make sure that all of the money that we spend is genuine believe is good value for money, and contract it out and get the best deal and the best cost for the quality. There's obviously a huge amount of things that we have the ability to do ourselves with our teams, and there's obviously a huge amount of things that we don't have the ability to do ourselves with our teams, either in terms of time or in terms of skill or in terms of access to equipment. So I'm not entirely sure exactly what you're referring to there, but you know, every organisation needs to continue to utilise external contractors to be able to provide high quality physical environments, if that's the case, or to support us with specialist knowledge and specialist expertise. Obviously, it's really important to remain ensuring that we get value for money, because it is money from the public purse, and that's also the need for us to continue to be efficient and effective in all that we do, both in terms of our clinical services and our non-clinical services. And that's one big thing that we will need to continue to drive over the course of the next 10 years as we modernise our services. We can only continue to make the investment that we need to if we can make sure that we're as cost effective as we can be, ensuring the patients are right at the very centre of everything that we do, providing the focus on high quality care for them, and ensuring we do it in a value for money way for all of us as taxpayers. In terms of events later on this week, we have a similar exec briefing at the start of every day, Tuesday and Wednesday, same time, 8:30 to 9:30 over the next couple of days. Tomorrow, midday, we've got a great session that Getch is leading around our culture. So it links into the importance of having the right behaviours linked in with our values, and making sure that we respect each other fully, making sure that we behave appropriately and support colleagues effectively, and increasing the amount of inclusion and diversity across the organisation. Then at 1:30 tomorrow, we've got a session around career in nursing, midwifery and AHPs, with an opportunity to talk about how colleagues have progressed their different careers in the organisations, and there's lots of insights from a number of leaders across nursing, midwifery and our AHPs who are talking there. And then tomorrow is rounded off by our Amazing People Awards at 4 o'clock, so 4 till 5:30 tomorrow. So again, another day full of great events. And then on Wednesday, the 30th, we've got some further exec briefing, obviously, then support for you and your colleagues rather around mental health. So Alexis Powell-Howard from Fortis Therapy will be back to talk through important tips for how you can support you through your mental health. We've got a great Schwartz round that builds on mental health as well. Then we've got a special guest appearance by Ruth May, the Chief Nursing Officer for England, to come and talk to us and thank all of our amazing nurses, midwives and AHPs. Great opportunity to ask Ruth some questions as well. And then a keynote speaker, Gavin Oates, 2:30 to 3:30 on Wednesday, talking about change and what it means for you. And again, another really good session, a highly respected speaker, Gavin is, and he'll deliver a really good, engaging session. And then finally, to top it all off, as is becoming tradition, there's a quiz night on Wednesday evening to put yourself against all of your colleagues. Question there, thank you. Are we advising all staff to work from home? So it depends. So yes, we're obviously looking at ensuring that where appropriate, we can support agile working for the benefit and the safety of colleagues. Obviously, some roles tend to lend themselves more easily to being able to do that than others do. So please ensure that you speak to your line manager about it. Please have a proper conversation with them as part of being able to be flexible and to work agilely and to be able to work from home. So yes, if you can, and it makes sense and it's possible and it's feasible, please discuss with your line manager. Obviously, some roles are not possible to undertake from home. Lots of sessions planned, lots of sessions run. Unfortunately, as you know, it can't run the event in a tent as we would normally do in the marquee up on the helipad. It's been fantastic last 3 years doing that, and hopefully we'll be able to get back to doing that next year. say a massive to the communications team, to all my exec colleagues, and to lots of other colleagues who pre-recorded other videos to make this a fun 3 days of virtual event in a tent, and to really support you, and to thank you and all of your colleagues for your hard work over the last year. And a message from Getch there, message to managers as normally, please ensure you allow your staff to attend as many live events during work time. Yes, so thank you for the last 3 years. Many managers have supported colleagues being able to get physically over to the marquee. Obviously, it's slightly different this year, but please encourage and enable and support your teams in being able to access the live events, and then also there's an opportunity for people, if you can, to be able to access the videos that aren't another time when they're not live and they're being reloaded. Good. I think that's it. Questions seem to be drying up. So to put on a video and as a trailer for the rest of the events in a tent that I've described a number of times. Thank you very much for listening, and have a great day, and hopefully I'll see you in some other virtual events later today. Thank you.